I used to live in an old apartment with my family. The first few months were normal, but then, strange things started happening. At night, I would hear whispers. Not loud, not clear, just a low, constant murmuring, like someone was talking right outside my door. Whenever I got up to check, the sound stopped. One night, I had enough. I decided to leave my phone recording while I slept. The next morning, I listened back. At first, it was just silence. Then, around 3 a.m., the whispers started. But this time, I could hear them clearly. A voice, deep, hoarse, was repeating my name. I deleted the recording and never tried it again. But the whispers never stopped. I was staying at my cousin's house for the weekend. It was an old place, surrounded by trees, a bit isolated. The first night, we stayed up late watching movies. Around 2 a.m., my cousin fell asleep, but I wasn't tired yet. I sat on the bed, scrolling through my phone. That's when I heard a soft tap on the window. Just one. I froze. The window was behind me. Slowly, I turned my head. Outside, in the darkness, I saw a shape. A shadowy figure, standing just beyond the glass. It wasn't moving, but I could feel it staring at me. I didn't scream. I just grabbed my cousin's arm and shook him awake. By the time he looked, the figure was gone. The next morning, I told my uncle. He went pale and whispered, "You're not the first one to see it." It was around midnight when my phone rang. I was already in bed, half asleep, but the sound jolted me awake. Annoyed, I reached for my phone. My heart skipped a beat. The caller ID showed my own number. I just stared at the screen, my hands frozen. My first thought was that it had to be a glitch. But curiosity got the better of me, and I answered. There was no sound at first. Just static. Then, a voice, low and distorted, whispered, "Don't turn around." My body went ice cold. I was alone in my room. The door was closed. The lights were off. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Slowly, I mustered the courage to glance over my shoulder. There was nothing there. When I looked back at my phone, the call had ended. I checked my call history. There was no record of it ever happening. I used to work the night shift at an office building. The place was mostly empty after 10 p.m., except for security and a few employees like me. One night, around 1 a.m., I stepped into the elevator to go home. The doors were just about to close when a woman walked in. She was wearing a long, dark dress, her hair covering most of her face. I pressed the button for the ground floor. She didn't press anything. The elevator started descending. It was silent, except for the faint hum of the machinery. I glanced at her, trying not to be obvious. She was standing unnaturally still. Then, the elevator stopped at the third floor. The doors slid open, but no one was there. That's when she turned her head slightly and whispered, "This isn't your floor." I felt my stomach drop. Before I could react, the doors closed, and the elevator kept going. When we reached the ground floor, I rushed out, my heart pounding. I turned back just in time to see the doors closing again, but the woman was gone.